Alright everybody, what's up? So this is the end of the road when it comes to Doom. This is the very last boss, the final stage. It's rather creepy, but this is it. This is all you have to do. And there's kind of a hint, like a hidden innuendo suggestion that there might be another Doom after this. Obviously, this is part of a series and some sort of sequence or reboot or something like that. I'm not super duper familiar with the whole Doom franchise. I know a lot of these enemies were throwbacks to the original Doom and stuff like that. But this is the boss. This is the final boss. I wasn't really able to follow why it turned into a giant spider, other than the fact that it was just really cool looking. So let's see, let's get started here. If you have your BFG, go ahead and use it. It does a lot of damage. Same thing with the Hell Guards. If the enemy is flashing green and kind of like immobilized for a second, if you continue to hit him, she, whatever, it'll actually spew out health for you. So it'll pop out health. There's also ammunition for your BFG on the side there. If you can see that green orb, I eventually make my way around to it. Unlike the Hellguard, there's no shield here, but there is a specific area that you need to be shooting. So you need to be shooting on top, especially the brain area. Just focus on the brain area, the exposed tissue there, and that's gonna do the most damage and reduce the most health. The biggest problem I had with this boss is the amount of attacks that this boss had, taking down my health with numerous attacks over and over again. And I quickly realized that a lot of what's taking place is on the ground. So I was jumping on these pillars here and just kind of trying to bide some time a little bit. Eventually I realized that if you break the pillars, more health comes out as well. But those spikes do exist, or the spikes protrude out of the pillars eventually. So there's the laser, there's the fog, there's the spikes on the pillars, but I would probably just suggest shooting the pillars because that's going to give you a lot of health. This spider thing will actually knock over the pillars every now and then, but for the most part I wouldn't necessarily bank on that. Like, don't rely on the fact that the spider is going to help you out by knocking over the pillars and giving you health. Just keep that in the back of your mind. In general, use your big guns. Just, heavy hitters and focus on the brain area. For the most part, I think ultimately I used my plasma rifle the most, provided I had ammunition for it, obviously. But at some point it just became kind of useless to attempt to shoot it from a distance with a shotgun or anything like that, and I didn't want to get too close. So all in all, I say the plasma rifle or the turret. And I know that the turret is actually a modification for your chain gun, but at this point you should have plenty of modifications, and if you didn't obtain the turret modification off of the chain gun, then you did wrong. You're gonna have a bad time. So again, just make sure you're jumping a lot and taking advantage of those pillars once they pop up. You can see me trying to shoot these to get any of the health out of them. At some point though, they do become undamaged or undamageable, so just attack them quickly if you're in desperate need of health. And eventually I got to this point where I was low health, and now all of a sudden I'm 150+% health, and that was just, for the most part, what I like to do is I just like to go in there and try to get the enemy as low health as possible. And as far as Doom is concerned, that actually works in my favor, because when the enemy is crippled like that, it gives off a lot of health. So look at me, I'm at 175% full health, and this thing is almost dead. So throwing grenades and shooting it with my my assault rifle, and it's about done. This is all you have to do. This is all you have to look forward to. There's not a whole lot going on here, and there's not any huge payoff or anything like that. I'm gonna hit it with this VFG real quick. But the benefit of completing this boss mission, this boss fight, is that not only do you get a gamer score of 25 for beating the boss, but since this is the final boss and the end of the campaign, you also get an additional 100 gamer score. So it's a total of 125 for beating this boss, because you're completing the game and killing the boss. And this is pretty awesome too. I mean, I gotta admit, that was pretty cool. So thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you subscribe to Pakistan Gaming, and you know, obviously share, like these videos, check out my other videos. So this is the 25 for Defeat the Spider Mastermind, and I'm gonna show you the other one. It's 100 for completing the campaign on any difficulty, any initial difficulty. I decided to do it on I'm Too Young to Die, just to kind of get through it and see what the game was like and everything. It presented its difficulty at times, but all in all, this was a relatively easy game to play on the easiest difficulty. On top of that, there's no benefit of, I've said this before, there's no real benefit of playing on anything greater than I'm Too Young to Die, the easiest difficulty, until you complete the campaign and you play the first level on Ultra Nightmare. But other than that, there's no real benefit. Just play it on the easiest difficulty, enjoy the game, take full advantage of all of the power-ups and everything like that at your disposal, all of the weapons and modifications. And this is kind of where you realize the guy who was helping you, very cliche, the dude who was helping you is kind of stabbing you in the back or in the front or whatever, and it ultimately used you to get what he needed out of the situation. So as far as a storyline is concerned, the plot is very cliche, mediocre, but the graphics are decent. But I will have to say the general gameplay, as far as defeating enemies and fighting swarms of enemies and everything, became a little stagnant after a while, just because they would introduce slightly more difficult enemies every now and then, but ultimately it just became this initiate a swarm of enemies, defeat them, and move on. And it just, like I said, it was rather consistent, but it became rather stagnant towards the end. So let me know what you guys think about the game. I liked the game though. I liked the graphics and the music and everything. It was a decent game. I wouldn't buy it, but I would definitely rent it. So thanks for watching, guys. Catch you next time.